See, here's the thing. I'm not trying to bash women. If anything, what I try to do is try to inject some reality in this. Because I'm not gonna lie, I have heard women who are over 30, overweight, with somebody else's hair on their head, attitude, talking about, well, I can't find a good black man out here. I'm just gonna date out. I'll go get me a white man.
Why do so many black men choose to live in mgtow? Sharp discusses 3 reasons why dark men choose to live their own lives. Dark women are no longer worth fighting over, which is one reason. Second, being a decent man is not appreciated in the black community. Thirdly, in the face of competition, black men became intense toward black women. Black men also begin to view black women as treacherous as a result of this. What do you believe makes dark men go a different alternative route besides what I just mentioned? The fact that a generation of young black men was raised by a single mother is one of the most obvious examples. In addition, they witnessed their father's imprisonment for failing to pay child support, as well as their mother's treatment of their fathers by imprisoning them so that they would not be as susceptible to being duped into pregnancies by black women and could not afford to support a child they did not intend to have. Black women, in my opinion, have also developed emotional exhaustion as a result of having to deal with angry black women. Also, I don't want to have to deal with the drama of being yelled at because I'm thought to be incompetent. Additionally, it appears that this is common in all communities. On Jerry Sprinter, however, the stereotype of the irate black woman throwing shoes at her man probably got to a lot of guys. Their lives should not resemble talk shows. The fact that it is no longer considered taboo among white and Asian men is another reason why black men are avoiding black women. Many ex-boomer and generational parents are still racist, and they still date black men as they did in the past. They won't let their daughters marry black men for so many of them. However, this does not preclude Latina, Asian, and white women from casually dating black men. Not only do black women now have access to white men, but their standards are also rising. That is regarded as superior in the connection market. It has something to do with the fact that every woman in our society is getting worse by the minute for some reason. Regarding that equation, women, on the other hand, will claim that there are no genuine men left because they no longer limit themselves to men from their backgrounds and because they have unrealistic expectations. Instead, black women's dating habits are comparing black men to white men. Swirling is a real thing, and it's everywhere. The final line, which I believe is my favorite, reads like this: when black women aren't giving you the time of day despite having a solid, stable job and not living at home, then dealing with the constant disapproval of your lack of success, then dealing with hate from brothers, and I quote, "Either you will give up or you will focus when you achieve even a small amount of success." This suggests, in my opinion, that because black women have experienced higher status white cauliflower, they have such high expectations of black men that they are now setting themselves up for failure. This is something that white men have struggled with for a very long time that black men are now learning about. Now, most guys have stable jobs in their place, so it's not enough for white or Asian men. Instead, in addition to being successful, you need to be wealthy, have expensive wheels, dress well, and have status. When you're a white man, having all of that may seem much simpler, but keep in mind that you're competing with other white men. As a result, a lot of white guys are now dating Filipino women or black or Latin women, and once they try the cauliflower, women from those groups simply won't go back. Although a white man's hair is shorter, it is thicker than a $100 bill, they assert about the sisters. The primary focus of the article is on the reasons why black men are following different paths from black women. However, I believe it should have explained why all women should treat black men differently. In the comment section that follows the article, black men also say that they date women of other races. I also didn't think about the fact that black women want the same thing from white men as white women do: entertainment. When women in general say they want an educated man, it's clear that they also want a rich man. However, they'd also want someone smart and knowledgeable so that she can be entertained. Just to be clear, not all degrees from colleges are created equal. I'd like to present a piece titled "The Missing Black Students at Elite American Universities" at this point. I assumed that more and more black men would enroll in college to increase their earning potential and their chances of attracting more desirable women. As a result, I searched for articles and discovered that racism exists in the classroom. and the outside college industrial complex. Over the past 2 decades, there hasn't been much of a change in the proportion of minorities enrolled at prestigious institutions like MIT and Harvard. This demonstrates to me that while the larger schools are attracting a greater number of minorities, the smaller, more recent and schools with lower academic standards are gaining enrollment. It almost appears as though the educational system is creating clown colleges out of minorities while maintaining the same level of segregation at Ivy League institutions. This is probably something that institutions like MIT are doing to promote the idea that their alumni are some of the best people in the world and maintain their high admissions standards. This brings me to another reason why black men are increasingly choosing to follow their path in comparison to black women. They are probably working and living paycheck to paycheck if they are spending exorbitant amounts of money on their education and having difficulty finding work, and that is not going to get you the girl. Many women are relying on finding a man who has assets to help them pay off their debts when they have to compete with men who have established careers, higher incomes, and very little debt. Because these women also have student loans, women are increasingly treating highly educated black men in a discriminatory manner. As a result, it becomes simpler for them to arrange for a hospitable white man to pay off the money she owes the government. I would not classify black men in this category as going their way. I would say that there are more true force, lonely types of guys who may have the looks and ambition, but they won't pass the woman's audition if they don't have the bling. Because their economy is increasingly becoming about status and being top tier in many categories. The fact that black men are not increasing their numbers in top-tier schools is brought up. Consider the modern women you know who spend $1,000 on a purse but have less food covering the inside of their refrigerator than a Bora mankini. Despite living in poverty, women continue to pursue expensive status items. The majority of women today want a guy who resembles Chris Evans and will not settle for anything less. Additionally, Evans brought his sister Carly to the Oscars this year, so I honestly believe he is going his own way. He had brought Tara, his best friend, the year before.